again and welcome to class 802. All right, let's finish our vocabulary from yesterday. We have only 5 words left, but I'm going to repeat the word from yesterday, pelar, pelar una patata, pelar una, to peel, P-E-E-L, peel, to peel an orange, to peel a potato. Hey Richard, have you ever peeled an orange? Of course I've peeled an orange. Have you ever peeled a banana? Of course I've peeled a banana. Have you ever peeled a potato? Many times. My mother, as I told you yesterday, taught me how to peel potatoes with a potato peeler. Yeah, I'm an expert. To peel. You know, I remember there's a restaurant in Burgos called Casa in the center of Burgos. It's a famous classical restaurant in Burgos. And in 1972, probably October 1972, ha llovido, I hitchhiked from Madrid to San Sebastián, but of course stopping in Burgos. And I was hitchhiking with Sarah Ashlock, an American student, a redhead, pelirroja. And we took a bus from the Plaza de Castilla in Madrid to San Sebastián de los Reyes for the beginning of the Burgos Highway. Now in October 1972, the Burgos Highway was 1 lane in one direction, 1 lane in the other. And so a person took us to Burgos and dropped us off. Nos dejó, o sea, nos apeamos. He dropped us off in Burgos, and we were hungry. And I said to someone, ¿Dónde se come bien por aquí? And he said, Casa Ojeda. And so we went to Casa Ojeda. Fine. It was good. But I remember something I will never forget. The restaurant was full. It was a very popular restaurant. The restaurant was full for lunch. And we were sitting at a table, and I noticed one of the waiters with a big kitchen fork, esos tenedores grandes de cocina, bam, on an orange. And the orange was here. And he had a knife, a big knife. And he peeled the orange without touching it. And served the orange. I'd never seen that in my life. So he was an artist in peeling oranges. All right. Now I don't know, but I haven't been, the last time I went to Casa Ojeda was probably 15 years ago. I've only been twice. No, maybe 3 times, maybe twice. 1972 and 15 years ago. All right. But it's good. Burgos is a wonderful city. Pelar is to peel. Apuntarse para is to sign up for. Voy a apuntarme a clases de inglés. I'm going to sign up for English classes. I'm going to sign up for scuba diving classes. ¿Cómo? Scuba diving. Buzo, no? Yeah. Scuba diving. ¿Qué es bucear? You know, con botellas de oxígeno. That's with oxygen bottles, oxygen tanks. That's scuba diving. Scuba. ¿Te suena? Scuba, ¿no? Do you know what it stands for? ¿Sabe lo que significa? No, scuba. Self-contained, autocontenido, self-contained, underwater, breathing apparatus. Aparato de respirar, autocontenido para debajo del agua. Self-contained, underwater, breathing apparatus. Apparatus. Yes. I remember a very good teacher in this organization, Robert. A very good teacher. Robno, Otro, Robert. And I remember the first interview, maybe in 1998, a long time ago. He's from Birmingham, England. He's from Birmingham. Wonderful guy. Very, very good teacher. And in the very first interview, to be a teacher. I asked him, about his hobbies. He said, no, I'm a category 5 scuba diver, which means el mejor, del buceo. I said, really? I said, what does scuba stand for? And he didn't know. He was very embarrassed. Estaba muy apurado. Because he said, I'm a professional scuba diver, but he didn't know the meaning or what the scuba stands for. And I knew, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. He was very embarrassed. But it didn't matter. Le pillé. All right, poor guy. Lo pasó mal. No, So, and it's similar, for example, imagina a alguien en la UGT y no sabes tú eres miembro de la UGT. ¿Qué significa UGT? Unión General de Trabajadores, of course. Or a person who works for the FBI. Well, what does the FBI stand for? I don't know. Federal, the B, a Bureau of what? Investigation. Federal Bureau of Investigation. All right, apuntarse para is to sign up for a course. Se usa muchísimo to sign up. ¿Dónde tengo que apuntarme? Where do I have to sign up? ¿Dónde tengo que ir? ¿Qué tengo que hacer para apuntarme al curso? What do I have to do to sign up? I want to sign up for your course in how to improve my public speaking. Oratory. I want to become a good presentation skills. How do I sign up? To sign up for. Aprovecharse de es to take advantage of. ¿Te estás aprovechando de mí? Por un casual. Are you taking advantage of me? Se están aprovechando de nosotros, ¿eh? No compran los libros y nos siguen a diario. They're taking advantage of us. Yeah, you need to buy the books. Come on. Otherwise, we'll never get rich, Marta and I, if you don't buy the books. You're taking advantage. Aprovechar. Aprovecha esta oportunidad es lo mismo. Take advantage of this situation. Aprovecha este curso. Todo lo que puedas. Take full advantage of this course. Esto es positivo. Aprovechar en el sentido positivo. Ahora, aprovecharse de, que es casi como explotar a alguien. It's to take advantage of también. Pero se suele decir, he's taking advantage of me. He's taking advantage of her. All right. Are you taking advantage of me? Concluir is to wrap up. Bueno, to conclude. To finish. To conclude. Comenzar y concluir. To begin and to conclude. To conclude. But to wrap up. Now to wrap, como la música rap, ¿no? Pero con W muda delante. Wrap. With a silent W. Wrap. Wrap is envolver. Papel de envolver is wrapping paper. But to wrap up is como, envoltorio final de esta clase. That's to wrap up. Okay, I want to wrap things up. Quiero concluir las cosas con una anécdota. I want to wrap things up with an anecdote or with a funny story. I want to wrap things up for a funny story. Yeah. This is true. I remember a movie with Bob Hope, a famous American comedian. And there's a moment in the movie in which he turns and looks directly at the camera, which is taboo. And he said, I remember. Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. They worked together a lot. Bing Crosby was a singer. Te suena Bing Crosby, no? Bing Crosby. And Bob Hope was a comedian. And they made several movies together, funny movies, comedies. And there was always a beautiful actress, Dorothy Lamour. And she was the actress. And there was always competition between Bing Crosby and Bob Hope for Dorothy Lamour. And there's one moment in which Bing Crosby is kissing Dorothy Lamour. And Bob Hope turns to the camera and says, boys and girls, now's the time to go get popcorn. Palomitas de maíz en el cine. And a lot of the young kids got up and went to buy popcorn while Bing Crosby was kissing Dorothy Lamour. All right, so we say to wrap up the things, to wrap up, envolver, to conclude. All right, voluntario, volunteer. Yo soy voluntario. I'm a volunteer. I'm not paid for this. I'm coming as a volunteer. I order you to volunteer. Okay. Volunteer es un voluntario. Ahora, presentarse como voluntario o ofrecerse como voluntario también es to volunteer. Voy a voluntariar. O sea, tenemos un verbo directo. To volunteer. I'm going to volunteer. Okay, I need volunteers. Who wants to, ¿quién quiere ofrecerse como voluntario? Who wants to volunteer? Volunteer for what? For an English class on television with students. Oh, no, Richard. It's too dangerous. You're a very hard teacher. No, I'm not. A mis alumnos antes les llamaban víctimas. My victims. You want to be a victim? You want to volunteer to be my victim. To volunteer. Okay. Volunteer. All right, so let's continue, shall we? Let's continue with learn to speak up. Learn to speak up. Learn to speak up. Learn to speak up. Page 204. We're going to finish this very, very soon. The last page is page 213. So we're going to finish this in a couple of weeks, probably, 2 or 3 weeks. List number 36 on page 204. This is a bit difficult. Lo haremos a pesar de que no hay dinero. We'll do it despite the fact that there isn't any money. We'll do it a pesar de que no hay dinero. No hay dinero. Y a pesar de que no hay dinero, lo haremos de todas formas. We'll do it despite the fact that there isn't any money. Y el that ahí is obligatory. We'll do it. We'll do it. Lo haremos. We'll do it despite the fact that there isn't any money. Alternative. We'll do it in spite of the fact. Tres palabras. In spite of. We'll do it in spite of the fact that there isn't any money. Third alternative. We'll do it even though there isn't any money. Even though. No although. Ni though. Even though. We'll do it even though there isn't any money. All right. Sí, lo haré yo a pesar de todo. I'll do it in spite of everything. I'll do it in spite of everything. I'll do it despite everything. Se dice in spite of más en este caso. I'll do it in spite of everything. Aunque es muy viejo, es todavía muy activo. Although he's very old, he's still very active. Wow. I remember in Austin, Texas, when my mother died before my father. My father died almost 4 years later. And when my father died, he had a life insurance policy. And my sister and I were beneficiaries of the life insurance policy. And so I called the office of New York Life Insurance Company about collecting the proceeds. Se dice lo que procede, los procedimientos y lo que procede de la póliza de seguros de vida. I called the company, the Austin, Texas offices of New York Life Insurance Company to collect the proceeds from the life insurance policy. And strangely, they told me, well, they called back later. They called me back and they told me to go to a 7-Eleven. A 7-Eleven is una tiendecita de cualquier esquina. West of Austin, in las colinas, al oeste de Austin, in the hills west of Austin, a 7-Eleven on a certain street, on a certain road. And a man by the name, I don't remember the name, by the name of Charles Johnson, for example, would give me a check. Un cheque, pero como de $15,000. Okay, wow. A check. I thought that was strange. So, at the designated day and time, I drove about 20 kilometers to this shop, to this store, a convenience store. And I walked in, and I was looking around like a good despistado, right? A little bit, just, look. And a man came up and says, "You must be Richard Vaughan." Usted debe de ser. "You must be Richard Vaughan." I said, "No." And I saw a man who was probably, he looked 90 years old. I said, "My God, I didn't expect a person your age." He said, "No, I'm 87. 87 años." He wasn't very tall, but he was wearing tennis shoes, and he said, "No, acabo de terminar de correr 8 millas." He says, "Every day, I run 8 miles every day. But I have a check for you." He gave me the check for $15,000 that he was carrying with him as he was running. And so he coincided. So apparently, he works for New York Life Insurance still in this type of activity. I don't know why. But that was very strange. Okay. So, aunque es muy viejo, es todavía muy activo. Este señor, sí. Although he's very old, he's still very active. Parece que se han ido, eh? It looks as though they've left. There are many ways of saying this. Parece que se han ido. No, parece que se han ido. It looks like they have left. Han salido o se han marchado. It looks like they've left. It looks as if they have left. It looks as though. Though. It looks as though they've left. I think they've left. I get the impression that they've left. Okay. It looks as though they've left. All right. Por extraño que parezca, strange though it may seem. This is a difficult list. Strange though it may seem. Yeah. Look at me. Can you see me? Strange though it may seem, I'm only 27 years old. Come on, Richard, you're not 27 years old. Por extraño que parezca, solo tengo 27 años. Strange though it may seem. Strange though. Strange. And then there are other ways. Even though it's strange, or it'll seem strange to you, but, of course, there are different ways to say the same thing. Strange though it may seem. Incluso John, mi amigo Juan, incluso John lo hubiera hecho. Incluso John lo hubiera. Even John would have done it. I would have done it. Martin would have done it. Anybody, even John would have done it. Done what? Bought the books. But John doesn't need to improve his English. But if he did, he would buy the books, of course. Yeah, even John would have bought the books. Even John, incluso Juan, even John. Ella lleva abrigo incluso cuando hace calor. All right. She wears a coat even when it's hot. Ande yo caliente y ríese la gente. Yeah, she wears a coat even when it's hot. I don't know why, but it is true. She always wears a coat. Ella llevaría abrigo aunque hiciera calor. Escucha, esas dos frases. Ok, primero la primera. Lleva abrigo incluso cuando hace calor. She wears a coat even when it's hot. Cuando es caluroso, está caluroso. She wears a coat even when it's hot. Llevaría ella abrigo aunque hiciera calor. She would wear a coat even if it were hot. Even if it were hot, she would wear a coat. Why? Because she always wears a coat. She never leaves the house without a coat. She always wears a coat. Even if it's 100 degrees outside. 100 degrees, that's impossible. 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, how much is that centigrade? 100 degrees? Probably 38. How do you know? Well, probably about 37 and a half or 38 degrees. How do you know? Well, because body temperature, the body temperature is 98 in Fahrenheit, is 98.6. And in centigrade, I think it's 27 or 26 y medio, por ahí. So 100, probably 37 and a half degrees. 100 degrees. The last time I was in Dallas, Texas, the temperature every day for 1 week was 100. It reached 108 degrees. Wow, 42 y medio. Oh, it was very, very hot. I remember in Dallas parking my car at a shopping mall. Los grandes centros comerciales ahí de compras. Shopping mall. And of course, the parking area around the shopping mall is very big. And it's asphalt, black asphalt. And many people go to the shopping mall, so you park relatively far. And because the sun, at 108 degrees, and the sun hitting the asphalt, the 100 meters, or 200 from my car, to the entrance to the shopping mall, the temperature was probably 50 degrees or 52 degrees. And then you go into the shopping mall, it's 21 degrees, because of the strong air conditioning in the United States. If you travel to the States in the summertime, the weather is probably going to be very hot. However, I recommend you you keep a sweater with you. Sweater is un jersey, un suéter. You keep a sweater with you always, because in many restaurants, shops, shopping malls, or other establishments, they often keep the air conditioning, it's cold. And so always be prepared, just in case. Or you go to the movie theater to watch a movie, it can be very cold. Or in Broadway, if you go to a show, to a play, or to a musical on Broadway in New York City, always take a sweater, just in case, because it can get very, very cold. You know, you spend 2 hours sitting, and the temperature is 20 degrees, and so it can get very cold. All right. Hace todavía más calor que ayer. It's todavía más. It's even hotter than yesterday. My God, yesterday was really hot, but today is even hotter. Can you believe it? It's even hotter. Yes. Aún así, voy a hacerlo. Even so, I'm going to do it. Even so. Aún así. Even so. Incluso así. Even so, I'm going to do it. In spite of that, I'm going to do it anyway. All right. Aún así. Vamos a estudiar los números pares e impares. Muy bien. We're going to study even and odd numbers. Even numbers and odd numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. These are even numbers. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Those are odd numbers. When I was in second grade, I was the class champion. I was the number one in my class in saying odd numbers. I could say them very quickly. The teacher said, okay, boys, even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, etc. All right. Very good, Jimmy. Ricky, the odd numbers. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, 26. Wow, Ricky, okay, wow. He's the champion, and I was the best. And I remember one of my friends was Chris Gallagher, Chris. And he was not the sharpest tool in the shed. We say, no era la herramienta más afilada del cobertizo. But he was a good guy. And I remember talking to him on the phone. Hey, Chris, yeah, hey. And hey, Chris, yeah. He said, wow, it's incredible, Richard, you with the odd numbers. I said, yeah, Chris, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Yeah, me? I can say the even numbers. 2, 4, 6. I see the lento. Poor Chris Gallagher. But he was a good guy, Chris Gallagher. But he wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Shed is el cobertizo de herramientas. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. All right, how much time do we have, Marta? We have very little time. We're out of time, my God. Well, I'll have to come back for more in the next class. Take care.